Welcome to the Cursed Archive. Case file number 005. The Typewriter. This is a case about narrative. We have seen objects that trap reality and objects that consume it. This file concerns an object that writes it. This is a warning about the terrible power of the written word. When police officers entered the small apartment of David Gallo on March 12th, they were baffled. The apartment door was deadbolted from the inside. The windows were locked. There was no sign of forced entry. There was no weapon. There was only David, slumped lifeless against his desk. And on the desk sat a heavy black 1930s typewriter. And next to David, on the floor, was a single sheet of paper. That paper contained a story that described in perfect, horrifying detail the exact circumstances of his own death. The hour, the minute, the cause. Pause. The officer who collected it noted in his report that the paper was still warm from the typewriter's strike bars. This is the definitive record of what happens when a man tries to argue with a story that has already been written.
The subject, David Gallo, 34, was a failure, at least in his own estimation. His apartment was filled with rejection letters. He was a talented writer, but a starving one. He was desperate for a breakthrough, for a muse. He would find a machine instead. He found it on March 1st, tucked away in the back of a dusty antique shop he had no business being in. It was a Schreibmaschine, a 1930s Berlin model. Heavy, black iron. It was not beautiful. It was brutal. This is from his first audio log that evening. His voice is thrilled. Log number 1. I bought it. I spent my rent money on it, but look at this thing. It's a tank. The keys, they fight you. They demand strength. I feel inspired for the first time in years. That night, lost in the romance of his new purchase, David Gallo wrote a story. A small, grim piece of fiction about a pigeon blinded by the city lights striking his apartment window and falling to the balcony, dead. He pulled the paper out and went to sleep. The next morning, he made coffee. He walked to his balcony to watch the city, and he screamed. This is audio log number 2. His voice is shaking. Log number 2. I don't understand. He gags, chokes back a sob. It's here. There's a dead pigeon on my balcony. Its neck is broken. It's exactly like I wrote. David convinced himself it was a coincidence, a dark, impossible, one-in-a-million coincidence. This archive proves otherwise. This was not coincidence. It was publication. This archive exists to document these transmissions, to separate the fiction from the fatal. If you believe this work is necessary, subscribe to the Cursed Archive. Your support ensures these warnings are preserved.
For 3 days, David Gallo did not touch the typewriter. He was terrified of it, but he was also tempted. What if it wasn't a coincidence? What if he held the power to right the world? He was a desperate man, and desperation is a powerful editor. He rationalized it. He would conduct one small test, something harmless. This is from his audio log, day 4. Log number 3. Okay, I'm going to do it. Just a small one. The neighbor upstairs, Mr. Henderson, he plays his violin every night, all night. I just want one night of peace. So I'm writing at 8:05 p.m. Mr. Henderson grows clumsy. He drops his expensive violin. The bridge snaps. It is unplayable. There. It's done. Now we wait. David Gallo sat in his apartment. The clock ticked. 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 8:04 p.m., and then 8:05 p.m. David's voice in the log is not human. It is a gasp, a terrified whisper. He dropped it. I heard it. I heard it break. Oh my God. A long, slow breath of realization. It works. The object was not a muse. It was a tool, a machine that bent reality to fit the page. And this is where the horror truly begins. Because David was not just desperate, he was broke, and he had just discovered a way to fix that. He tried to write, "I win the lottery." His audio log number 4 is frantic. Log number 4. It won't let me. I tried to write something good for myself, and the W key jammed. It snapped the strike arm. He pauses, then a cold realization. It doesn't want good. It wants tragedy. It feeds on misery. Okay, if it wants tragedy, I'll give it tragedy. He did not sleep that night. He wrote. He wrote his masterpiece, a dark, complex story of an armored car, a blown tire, a skid, a crash, and one single bag of money flying free and landing unseen in an alleyway behind a blue dumpster. He wrote the exact street corner, the exact time, 10:30 a.m. The next morning, he watched the local news. At 10:35 a.m., the breaking news alert came on. An armored car had crashed at the exact corner. A tragic accident. 2 guards are in critical condition. David's log number 5 captures this moment. The sound of the news and David's voice over it. It happened. He's gasping for air. It's real. The news, they said 2 guards are critical. He begins to sob. I didn't write that. I didn't write that. I just wrote about the bag. He wails. Oh God, what have I done? He had created a narrative, but the machine had added the details. It had paid for his fiction with someone else's blood. David Gallo ran to the alleyway. The bag was there, just as he wrote. He took it, and he ran.
Guilt is a prison. David hid the money, but he could not spend it. He was haunted. He took the typewriter, covered it in a sheet, and locked it in his closet. He swore he would never touch it again. He thought he could walk away. He was wrong. The machine had learned. It had tasted authorship. It no longer needed a writer. This is audio log number 7, March 10th, 2 a.m. David is weeping. Log number 7.
It's typing! I locked it in the closet, and it is typing! Clack, 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 clack. It's writing a new story by itself! It's been going for an hour! I can't stand it! I have to see, I have to know!
David ran out of his apartment. He ran to a hotel. He called the police and confessed to everything. The robbery, the typewriter. They laughed at him. They told him to sober up. David realized he was alone. He had to fight it. This is where the improvement to this file becomes critical. The machine was writing, and David was reading. He read the page that the machine had written for him. This is audio log number 8. Log number 8.
I read the page!
He is breathing fast.
It wrote a story about me! It wrote, the writer, in his panic, would flee. He would run down the stairs of his apartment building. He would slip on the wet concrete and fall, breaking his neck. It's a lie!
He screams it, a primal yell.
I won't let it happen! I know the story so I can change it. I am not going near the stairs. I am staying in my apartment. I am locking the door. I am beating you. I win!
He was wrong. You cannot beat the author. You can only play your part. David locked himself in. He sat against the door for 5 hours. He won, he thought. But then he heard a new sound. The neighbor above him, the violinist whose life he had ruined, had fallen asleep in a drunken stupor with the bathtub running. The water was leaking through the ceiling. It flowed down David's wall and puddled on his hardwood floor, right at the threshold of his front door. David did not see it. He stood up to get a drink, relieved that he had survived. He took one step. He slipped on the water. His feet flew out, and his head struck the corner of the door frame, the stone threshold. His neck snapped instantly. The machine did not need the stairs. It only needed the result. The story always finds a way. Inevitability. That is the true horror.
Log 9.
Which brings
It's
us
stopped.
back to
It's
the
waiting.
beginning, to
It
the
knows
end.
I read it.
David Gallo is not on the floor. The police did not find him by the door. The archive has reconstructed the true final moments. The machine did not write about the stairs. That was itself a fiction, a distraction. This is audio log number 9, the final recording. David is not hysterical. He is dead calm. He is reading. Log number 9. It wrote a new story. While I was hiding, it wants me to read it. It's not in the closet. It's on my desk. How? He reads. The writer sat on the floor, realizing he had lost. He looked at the clock. It was 10:17 p.m. He felt his heart stop. No, he whispers it. No, I feel fine. It's lying. It's wrong. A sharp gasp, a clutching sound, a thud as he slumps. I can't breathe. It wrote it. His own heart betrayed him, or the narrative forced it to stop. He fell forward, and as he died, his own dying eyes read the final sentence that the machine was currently typing. T-H-E-N-D. The police report concluded death by natural causes, sudden cardiac arrest. They were wrong. It was not a natural death. It was a published ending. The typewriter is now in archive storage. It sits silent, but the night guard reports a problem. He swears that some nights he hears a single faint typing sound. It is writing still. It is looking for a new editor.
Looking for a new
Case file
editor.
number 005. The typewriter is closed. This object created a fatal narrative. But what if an object did not create, but erase? What if it could remove your worst memories, but leave a scar where they used to be? Which brings us to case file number 006, the surgeon's scalpel.